down those steps, and you guys are going to have it on video. No question. Taking notes on who's in short sleeve shirts today. There we go. That's right. That's what I keep hearing. Appreciate you guys coming out. Obviously, a huge opportunity for us on a short week. Another divisional rival at home. Knowing our first 3 home games are division games, it helps coming off of a performance that we would like to have obviously put on a better showing on Monday Night Football. But in a lot of ways, the short week is a real plus to be able to just get right back to work and coach these guys up. We got a great group in there, expecting our group to respond the right kind of way, and no better place to do it back in front of our fans at US Bank Stadium. But really good football team coming in. These guys are playing really well, and have done some really great things early on in this season, and it's going to be a heck of a challenge.
The decision not to practice today, and what goes into that thinking, and is that something that the Rams used to do?
Yeah, it kind of works off of, we're still well within 48 hours from that game. The other night we had, late travel, got back around 5 a.m. with a little bit of the travel things we had going on. So just want to make sure, we're having extended meetings today, a little bit more meeting time than we would normally have, just to be able to obviously circle back on the things we need to correct from the game, but then also, be right on schedule for the rest of the week. And then we'll extend out tomorrow a little bit and add some more plays in there to get some full speed reps of the stuff that we get more of a jog through, kind of walk through today as these guys turn over from the game. But that is something that I think is really important, especially when you are 48 hours, in that window to help these guys turn over, especially early on in the season.
Work out for the Rams? There's some examples of how that kind of getting back on the field.
Yeah, I think so. We played quite a few primetime games there in LA, and just always trying to gauge. I think the 12 o'clock start, comes at you in a hurry here in our time zone, and coming off of that late travel, and before you know it, we'll be right back, right back on the grass or the turf at US Bank Stadium, and quite honestly, wouldn't want it any other way. I mean, at this point, we're working very hard as a group, as a staff, and we feel really good about our plan we're putting in front of the players today, and then at this point, with our guys, especially making sure our guys are fresh and ready to roll. I think this is a big day to, really mentally stack it, but, make sure our guys are fresh come Sunday.
After watching the films, your thoughts on how Kirk Cousins did against the blitz, against pressure, and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I thought, we definitely could have helped him out a little bit more, and I think Kirk would be the first one to tell you there's some plays where I think across the board there in the second half, myself included, we pressed a little bit, trying to, make a lot back up in a hurry. When it really comes back down to it, you watch that tape real closely. Offensively, I know we left a lot of yards out there, left a lot of plays out there to be made, whether it was catching a football or, just the detail in what we did. And obviously the first time on the road, it was a heck of an atmosphere, and I thought we handled the noise well from a communication standpoint. But you got to give that defense a lot of credit for how they, they defended us one thing, but, there was a lot of competitive plays in there where just that margin of error is so thin, and wherever it was, we just couldn't really stack plays where all 11 were doing their job. And then, there's obviously some calls I'd love to have back myself. So, it's all of us first and foremost. But I know I expect our group, that's coaching staff, players, and myself included, to respond the right way. That's the expectation, and that's how we're going about this week. Harrison's in the protocol. Short week, so it'll be kind of a day-to-day process. He feels pretty good, but we'll kind of allow that process to play out. And obviously, the sensitivity that I have, for the protocol and making sure our guys are right, especially early on in the season with a veteran player. We'll allow Harrison to have the entire process. They got a good protocol in place for this exact reason, and we'll see how it plays out.
Kevin, what do you like, I guess, after a loss? How do they weigh on you personally, and what kind of message do you send to a team after a loss?
I would say, wins, I normally move on from those pretty quick and tend to not, have too many warm and fuzzy feelings after a win. It's on to the next. I would say it's the exact opposite with a loss, and you really find yourself, especially just how I handle a lot of situations, I always look inward first, and that was immediately following, the game. You start that process, and you just know you can be better, and you could be better in a lot of different ways of coaching this team, and our staff feels the same way. And the great thing about it is, I can't tell you how many players I've had, come up to me, reach out, and kind of even early on today, just, hey, we got to play better too. And I think that's where you feel like all the culture stuff we talk about, this is when it gets tested. And it's easy you'd love for that response to happen in game and, triumphantly come back to win that game, but it just wasn't in the cards for us. And we didn't do enough, quite honestly, to win that football game, in a lot of ways. And so now that response takes place now on a short week, getting ready to play a really important divisional game against a team playing really well.
Looking inward, what shape does that take, I guess, for you? What kind of questions do you ask yourself, or what kind of things do you communicate?
What we planned on doing, what was our plan, and then did I stick to that plan? Was I consistent in how we want to play from a offensive philosophy standpoint, or did I allow myself to press a little bit, with the play call, with the expectation of trying to do some certain things, and maybe was the down and distance the right time? Maybe was I did I overextend us at times or not overextend us enough at others? It works both ways. But I think across the board, our guys see it today watching the tape and making sure as we move forward, it comes down to little things, execution, and then relying on, our guys to go out and make plays like, they've done time and time again throughout their careers. And obviously in our first game of the year, which was, even though it seems a long time ago, it was not that long ago. And we feel like, all we got to do is put together a week of preparation, make it about, us understanding we're playing a good team, and then take that execution level and earn the right to feel kind of confident in our plan going into the week. But it's a good question, though.
One of the strengths that Cousins has is his ability on play action. There wasn't a ton of that against Philadelphia. Was that like a product of the score differential, game planning? What was the reason for that?
Yeah, that's definitely something I looked back on and really understanding. If you really peel it back, and even if we are able to we limit those turnovers and don't have those turnovers, especially down in the Eagles' end, if we're able to get 3 on a couple of those possessions, you're really talking about it being a one-possession game, possibly late in the game, which we didn't give ourselves an opportunity to do. And looking back on it, did we have to get it all back at once? Did we have to try to, get that score tied, quickly, or did we just need to play smart and kind of play the right way? And I think that's where it all starts with me, and that trickles down to our staff and players first and foremost. That's 100% why I think I could have been better for our group. But there's no doubt that all goes in line with our offensive philosophy, whether it is the movement game and the keeper game, play pass, and then a lot of times personnel defensively can dictate the best possible way to maybe find completions is via some drop back pass, but that does not necessarily mean that's where you got to live. And I think it's a balance of a lot of those things, and just picking the right spots to be aggressive, and then obviously playing good situational football to be complementary with the defense is an important thing too.
Games and within the confines of your offense and scheme, are you getting what you want and need from him?
Yeah, I think Dalvin, I think he's been really close to breaking a couple runs. Obviously, some personnel things have kind of dictated to us at times, kind of some of the run selection, and we'll continue to work through that to make sure we get him touches. How are we packaging plays to not get talked out of running the football? And I think that'll be a key for us moving forward, not just this week, but a lot of the time the rest of the season. He's a very important player to our offense. I have all the confidence in the world in him, and I've got to do a better job making sure that I get him in a rhythm, much like you try to get the quarterback or JJ or Adam or KJ or any of our guys in a rhythm early. Both Dalvin and Alexander can be a huge part and will be a huge part of our offense moving forward.
How do you do that, Kevin, with play calling, game situation, but also having star players to get those rhythms? It can be a lot of different masters to serve.
Yeah, and that's where it gets hard when you run 21 plays in the first half and trying to, 21 plays where a good chunk of those are third downs. Then you're kind of in a pseudo 2-minute for some of those plays. So really, when you break it down, it's I would have liked to run the ball earlier, more in the game, but were the ops really there? Did they really present themselves? We did kind of hear back through channels that it was indeed, that first third down in the game probably should have been first down Vikings based upon JJ, only having one hand to catch the football with how that kind of played out. But ultimately, we got to convert third downs if we're going to be in that kind of game early on where the defense was just on the field a lot. And, you try to get things started the way you want with your kind of plan of attack in place, the priority calls you like. But sometimes things dictate sticking to that plan and sometimes they don't. But I think the important thing is understanding that we have a lot of confidence in our guys, and that's a lot of people on our offense. Getting guys all in a rhythm at the same time, probably not something that's easy to do, but it's something that we're capable of doing, and I got to do a better job doing that.
Is that a play you sent to the league when you heard back on that one?
Yeah, I haven't been doing this long enough to know what I can or can't say, but we just know that more than likely that would have been a flag.
The way it affected Kirk on Monday night, do you expect to see more of that from a Detroit defense that seems to want to send a lot of them?
Yeah, and I think they did a nice job with kind of some timely all-out pressure that, we felt good about our plan to kind of handle, but then there's one thing to feel good about it, on paper or out here, but then we got to make sure our guys are prepared and ready to handle it in real time, and that's where, I think we'll continue to grow as a group, and something that, I got to do a better job of for sure.
You had one of each so far. Do you find it easier or different at all to correct or teach off of a win or a loss, or does the approach change? Do you find the guys respond differently?
I think that's where it's really important that what was the process leading into that game, and that's my job, is to really take a close look at, was our preparation different? Obviously we back-to-back games where we had extra time and felt like our guys went into the game prepared. I think it goes back to just making sure that we're consistent in how we go about these weeks to prepare for these games. And then ultimately, if our guys are fresh and ready to go and have that kind of mental comfort in the plan, I think with the guys we put out there on the field and the comfort and the confidence we have in those guys, that's when you let them turn it loose and go play and obviously evaluate the results. But I always go back to what did it feel like, look like, what was the expectation going into that game versus what ended up playing out.
How improved are the Lions in your estimation?
I think they're, having played those guys last year, and it was a tough game. Dan and his staff did a phenomenal job against us last year. You see just the growth of the team, the growth of how what Ben Johnson's doing on offense for them. I got a lot of respect for him and what he's doing offensively, and I've had a long-standing relationship going back a lot of years with Aaron Glenn. I think he's one of the best defensive coordinators in our league. I think he's an unbelievable leader, and you could just feel how hard those guys play. Obviously, they've added some personnel defensively that has really helped their scheme go, and Aubrey Pleasant does a great job on the back end as well, who I've coached with. So we know it's going to be a heck of a challenge. They're going to have a great scheme to take away a lot of the things that we like to do, and that's where we really got to get all of our guys involved and really play a well-rounded game, but stay true to who we want to be offensively.
Any Lions secrets watching Hard Knocks?
You know what? I didn't. I just was. You feel. I know that show is very, very entertaining, but you feel that Dan's building something special there, and I got a lot of respect, like I said, for those coaches. I know Jared Goff really well. Got a lot of respect for him and his talent level to play this game at a high level. So I can't say it again. We know this is going to be a heck of a challenge, and getting them at home and obviously in our home environment will be huge. And I know our players are very much looking forward to getting back in front of our home fans at US Bank. Thanks, guys.